Hi, I thought I'd take the opportunity today to speak a little bit about my own language learning journey. And normally when I do videos, I write great big long speeches and make sure I've got a copy of it somewhere where I can read it off of it. But to be honest, it's getting me really stressed doing that, so I just decided I'd just freewheel it and see what comes out. So it'll either be me rambling on or it'll be something really profound and interesting, so we'll see which way it goes. So I first became interested in Afrikaans, as I've said before, in 2011, but I didn't really start my learning seriously until about January 2015. The first thing I did was bought a book called Colloquial Afrikaans, which is very good, and I seem to have lost my copy, and I had a big sort out a while ago, and I'm just praying that I didn't throw it away because I cannot find it anywhere, but it is a very good book. I also surfed YouTube, and I think I typed in Learn Afrikaans, and that's where I found Landie Rubenheimer's Learn Afrikaans channel, and you'll remember that I did interview Landie a few videos ago. I also found some other people that were doing videos on YouTube, and I will link those in the description below, and they were Steohenstone Afrikaans and Heinsuniverse Afrikaans as well, both very good. I'm sure there's loads of other good ones out there, but they were just the ones that I happened to use. So with those, I built up a good basic knowledge of some words and phrases, but I remembered from learning French at school and then going to live in France how very different it is learning from a textbook to actually being able to speak with natives. So I knew how important it was that I could actually speak to natives, and so I wanted to find some Afrikaans people to talk to. And then I found the website italki.com, which is just fantastic, and if you haven't checked it out yet, then I highly recommend that you do. It's a website for language tutors and language students, and you can find language partners. You could do things where you write a couple of sentences or paragraphs or short stories and have natives correct them, and it's really good. It's just changing the face of language learning, so I highly recommend it. But I now have 4 language tutors, and people always ask me, why do I have 4? Well, the reason being is that I feel that everybody has something different to teach us, and I'm a teacher myself, and I always recommend my students have more than just me teaching them, because I do have limitations. I'm only human. There's things that I find difficult and things that I find easy and things that I'm better at teaching and other things that I'm not so good at teaching, and so I think that it is really important that we learn from as many people as we can. And I love all 4 of my tutors very much, but they are very different from each other. They've all got very different styles of teaching. Eugene, he knows how much I enjoy South African history and politics, so he gives me, and he's very into reading as a learning tool, which I think is brilliant actually. And so he gives me speeches, Nelson Mandela's speeches written in Afrikaans, and he'll give me poems and other things, and he works on the pronunciation that way, and also acquiring new words as we go along and working on the grammar as well. And then with my tutor Ed, I've been working firstly on the Pimsleur method of language learning, which takes the most frequently used words of a language and teaches you those in sentences, so you learn basic grammar and you learn how to structure sentences as well. And now I've sort of got that and got the basics under my belt, and I've built up a little bit of a language core. Now for the whole hour we just speak in Afrikaans, which has been really great. It's really great to be able just for that 1 hour to speak purely in Afrikaans, and it's really good for my brain to start to try to think in Afrikaans as well, so that's really fun. And then I have Landie Rubenheimer. You will remember I did an interview with Landie a little while ago. She's an artist, and so Landie is really creative at finding different teaching materials. So one of her favourite things is to teach people through songs. So we'll do songs, we'll do poems, we'll do stories. She's also likes to use games to learn, so that's really exciting. And I've recently got a new teacher called Suzanne. Suzanne is fantastic. I sought her out because she had really good feedback on teaching people and working on grammar with people, and that's something that lately I've really been struggling with. I find that I'm at the stage where I'm no longer a complete beginner. I'm moving into that intermediate stage. But the thing that I feel is really holding me back is the grammar side with the more complicated sentences. And so I'm not, like I said before, I'm not very good at learning from a book. So I can't open a grammar book and all of a sudden have an understanding of it. I need somebody to work through it with me in person. And so she's been really great at that. And I've only had 3 lessons and already I can feel a difference. It is starting to click a little bit more. And in my last lesson, she made me read, well, we started a reading piece on rules for a braai, so a South African barbecue, for those of you that aren't that familiar with the word. And that's got a lot of South African humour in that, which I just love. So I think we're going to be seeing some really interesting things there as well. So that's where I am at the moment. Like I said, my sticking point at the moment is the grammar. I'm working through it and it is getting a little bit better. Do need to master that past tense for some reason with me. Just doesn't sit. But I've been also, another interesting thing that I've discovered lately about myself is that I'm very much, I think the word is an auditory learner, and I always thought I was very much a visual learner. But I find that if I'm listening to the CDs that accompany the books that I've brought, it will stick in my head much more than it will do if I'm reading it. And so what I've started doing is I've started transferring the CD onto my phone so I can have it with me and listen as I'm going about my day. And then if there's any things that aren't on the CD, and then I'll use the voice recorder on my phone, and so I'll speak to it and I'll do word lists and things, and just so I can have it on my phone, and if I'm waiting for the bus or walking to work or doing the washing up, I've got it going on. And I find that that's really helping me. And actually it's only in this last week that I've started to do that, but it's been really good so far. So I'm hoping, fingers crossed, that that's something which is going to help to move me forward as well. And I have started doing a little bit more reading outside of my lessons. The Complete Afrikaans book that I've got from the Teach Yourself series has some really great chunks of conversation or just chunks of dialogue, and that's actually been really interesting to read. So I'll read it along with the CD, but then I will also record that section of the CD on my phone and have it playing again and again to me. And then I'll also read it without, and I'm finding actually that's helping quite a bit with grammar and sentence structures, so fingers crossed that carries on. But that's sort of where I am now. I'm also, as some of you know, trying to learn French. I did do French at school, as I said before. I did French and German at school, and German always for me sunk in much better, and at school my German was much stronger than my French. But then, having lived and worked in France for 6 months, I found that my French was then much stronger than my German, understandably. But actually my Afrikaans is much better than my French now. And so I want to keep doing my French because it is something that is part of my history and it is something that is important to me. But I am finding doing the 2 languages together quite a struggle, and part of me is wondering if I just leave the French for a little bit and concentrate on the Afrikaans, because I'm going back to South Africa in November and it probably will be the last time for a few years, because my husband and I really need to be saving for a mortgage and all of those boring things. But yeah, so I will be kicking myself if my French holds my Afrikaans back and I don't get a chance to reach where I want to be by the time I go out in November. So that's something I'm toying with at the moment. Do I stop the French and just continue on with the Afrikaans? If anybody has any experience learning 2 languages together, actually, I'd be really interested to know what your thoughts are on that. I know quite a few of the polyglots say 1 language at a time. It's better to concentrate on 1 language for a year and then another language after that, and then you would have reached, at the end of 2 years, reach the same level in both. But actually I'd be really interested to see what other people think about that, or if anyone's had any experience in it, do let me know. I think I'm probably just rambling on now, and there's probably loads of things I was going to say that I've forgotten about, so I may well need to make another video to follow this one up, but that's where I am for now. Do let me know where you are with your language learning journey, be it Afrikaans or anything else, and that's it for now, and I will hopefully see you soon. Bye for now.